Hey guys, Geekonomy here. This is the first video in a new series I'm going to start making called Ranked. In this series, I'm going to be ranking every single type of item category from the worst to best for making profit. I'm not going to be using my own opinion at all in these videos, I'm only going to be using maths, so it is a definite answer. The first topic in this series is going to be providers. Providers are something that you harvest once every 12, 24, or even 72 hours for an item that they can drop. Providers are good for profit because you only need to buy them once and then they stay forever and they'll continue to make you profit. Onto the maths part. I'm going to be finding out what the best provider to harvest is by taking how much they make every single day and then divide that by how much they cost. This gives us a number that shows us how many world locks we get every day for how many world locks we actually spent. Now onto this video. For starters, I'm going to be going over every single provider I could find in the game and show how much it costs, how much profit per 1,000 of each provider you could expect every day. And if you wanted 2,000 of them, you just have to double the numbers. And if you only want 500, just half these numbers. The first provider I want to cover is tackle boxes, as they seem to be the topic of discussion whenever someone is talking about providers. Tackle boxes are good because they're consistent. The items they drop are easy to sell and they sell for a decent price. The downside to tackle boxes is that they're very expensive. It costs you 44 diamond locks just to get 1,000, and that can only be harvested once every 2 days. Every time you harvest 1,000 tackles, you'll end up with around 25 world locks profit from the baits. So that equals to 12.5 world locks profit every day. So using our equation from before, we end up with a number that looks like this. This number shows us how many world locks we'll get every day for every world lock we spend on buying the providers. So that means for 4,400 world locks, we will get the number above every day, not every harvest, but every day. So we'll start off our list with tackle boxes. Next up is ATM machines. ATM machines used to be the lazy man's gem farm, but ever since BFGs were introduced, they've kind of fallen into the background. Now the average ATM gives you around 10 gems, so for 1,000 ATMs, we'll get around 10,000 gems. That's only 5 world locks worth of gems. Not to mention, these things are expensive. 1,000 of them costs between 3 to 4,000 world locks, and that's world locks per world lock spent every single day. That's half of what tackle boxes make. That's astonishingly low. Let me put that in perspective for you. Imagine I'm just a regular Growtopia trying to, do a trade. I have 30 world locks and I want to make some more world locks. I'm like, how can I make profit? So I'm going to go and buy some pepper trees. And then I farm those pepper trees every single day and make over double what you do with only 30 world locks. In other words, don't buy these. Straight to the bottom. After ATMs, we actually have science stations, or stats. Now, stats are actually a very consistent provider, as you're always going to be able to sell the items they produce very quickly for a decent profit. Now, on average, stats will give you 15 mystery chemicals for every 1,000 stations you have if you harvest them twice a day. And those can be used to make about 75 fuel packs or other craftable items. I'm using fuel packs just as an example here, so 75 fuel packs sells for around 3.5 world locks. So you'll make 3.5 world locks every single day, and stats are also relatively cheap considering the daily profit. Coming in at just 150 to 200 world locks per 1,000. That brings us to 0.0175 daily profit per world lock spent. Honestly, that's not bad at all. It's top of the list so far. Moving on, we have cows and buffaloes, and these things provide the same amount, only the cows are a bit cheaper, so we're going to use them. They'll provide around 1,500 milk every day for you to sell, and milk sells for around 200 to 400 per world lock. It's very hard to find buyers though, that is quite something. And if you do manage to sell them all though, you'll be looking at around 4 to 7 world locks every day for only 150 to 200 world locks of cows. That's 0.04 world locks per lock spent. As good as that sounds, remember you have to sell them all to get this number. That's top of the list. After cows, we have chickens, and chickens are especially good because they're actually really cheap. The eggs actually have use in cooking as well. They're very cheap, coming in at only 120 world locks for 1,000 of them, and these things also produce 1,500 eggs, and they sell for about 200 to 400 per world lock, the same as cows. So you'll get 4 to 5 world locks a day if you sell them all. These things actually shocked me, and they're coming in above cows at our list at 0.05 profit per world lock spent. Okay, this video is getting a bit long. I'm going to skip over the next 4 as they aren't very interesting, and I'll explain the why later. Okay, so that's our list, and I know what you're thinking. How is chicken the most profitable? Anyway, I'd just like to say this is by no means a realistic list at all. A more realistic list would look something like this. See how that looks a whole lot different even though it's in the same order? Yeah, it's a bit wacky. The reason these numbers look so low is because this is a realistic way of looking at how many world locks you'll actually make daily if you had 1,000 of each of these. So the question is, which one of these should you be buying? Well, I have an answer depending on how many world locks you have, really. If you've got anywhere from 1 world lock up to 2,000 world locks, I can't stress how much profit you'll make from the science stations. And if you've got 90 diamond locks just sitting around, you might as well get the tackle boxes, as they'll just get you more and it's a bit less effort than the science stations. And apart from those providers, there really aren't many that are completely profitable, to be honest. I actually owned 1,000 tackle farm for about a week until I decided I was going to sell it because I made almost no world locks in return. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. Well, that's it for this video. Comment below if you think I should do farmables or different vending shops next. Alright, well, till next time, see yous.